Stephen Hawking, astrophysicist and arguably one of the smartest people on the planet, warned us about the possibility of aliens from outer space.
Hawking says that if extraterrestrials visit us, the outcome might be similar to when Columbus landed in America. In other words, it didn't turn out too well for Native Americans.
You know, I gotta say, this is kind of like Independence Day, except like from the people who didn't matter from their point of view, like
right.
the unimportant losers who stay in an apartment the whole time.
I like that idea of showing an event from not from the winner's perspective. We always get to see the winners, the guys who said, "Hey, fuck you, aliens. We're gonna show you what's what."
Yeah.
What about everybody else who doesn't charge in with that kind of bravado, who just scramble to try to stay alive, and they aren't particularly smart at it?
Sure. I mean, Will Smith, he don't hear no fat lady. I mean, he's going to get in there. He's going to direct contact. He's going to punch one out.
Yes. And smoke a cigar while he does it.
Eric Balfour?
Yeah, not so much.
Not so much.
Which, you know what? That was something I actually liked about his character. And this movie's filled with a bunch of characters that there's no reason to like any of them.
Yeah.
But I did like that he wasn't a tough guy at all. I mean,
No.
he behaved in the way that, sorry to say, most of us probably would.
Yeah.
With a lot of panic, not always making the right decision or making no decision.
Well, the people in here, nobody is real smart. Okay,
No.
first off, but they're just, I mean,
They're just
like,
average.
They're just average people, right? And you're right, they're in full blown panic. And the thing is, do they make incredibly stupid decisions, like way dumb? Oh yeah,
Sometimes
they
yeah.
make, even early on, they're making really stupid. Like, what in the hell? That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're going, there's aliens up coming down. They have lights that act like those hypnotizing lights from fish deep
Yeah.
under the water.
Yeah.
You know, except for humans, where they see it and they can't stop themselves. They're drawn to it, and then they get sucked into alien asses.
Yeah.
So, I will get back to that
or
later.
vaginas,
Or
but-
vaginas.
Yeah.
And then they're also just straight up scooping people up, and they're everywhere. There's giant aliens walking around like something from
There's
Shadow
Cloverfield
of the
monster
Colossus.
aliens.
Yeah, there is no safe place to be except fucking putting your head in the sand,
Yes.
hiding.
In a closet.
I would have climbed in a closet and just
Yeah.
waited it out. These guys are like, we should go out there.
Well, is it Eric Balfour, or is it more Donald Faison, who's like, no, we should get to the boat.
Yeah, it's
like,
we
wait,
didn't-
have you seen what's outside? No. If we can make it past them and get to the boat, we can drive away from here.
It's like, did you see the one place that we didn't see an alien ship? No. They're not above the water. Are you sure that's significant?
Right.
I mean, there's only like 3 here in LA, and because they're picking people up, being over the water probably wasn't a real smart place for them to be.
that is some funny logic. Like, well, there's not one over the water right now, so we can assume that's safe.
Did you see signs?
See, you know what? It's totally M. Night Shyamalan's fault.
Yeah.
And ipso facto Mel Gibson's fault. See, thanks a lot, Mel.
Well, to be fair, Skyline is indeed a weird, like they didn't even understand what they were doing, mismatch of every other alien film from the last like 20 years.
You're absolutely right. It's everything we named. It's Independence Day. It's Signs. It's Cloverfield. It's Aliens.
It's the Matrix.
It's
Don't
the
forget about
Matrix. Yeah.
Matrix.
Oh yeah. It doesn't let you forget that.
No, it does not. I mean, not just in the not in the way, like there's no big martial arts sequences or
No,
anything like
no.
that. It's just the way the aliens look.
Right.
Yeah.
And the point of where they're doing their farming, and I don't want to get into too much of that. I don't know how much is spoiler and how much is somebody saying like, you guys are never going to see this movie. Just tell me.
You know, I'm almost kind of sad though. I can talk bad shit about this movie all day long because there's lots of bad things to say, but there are some really good things about this film that I genuinely enjoy.
Cyrus, it almost kills me that you're saying this.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same way.
I was so worried. You know what? After our review of Unstoppable,
I know.
where it was like 87% of Rotten Tomatoes, and we're like, it stinks. And then this one, we're like, it's not so bad. And it's like 11%.
Oh, I know.
People are never going to let
I
us
saw
live
that too.
this
I don't
down.
understand people. You know what? I do understand people liking Unstoppable because that movie it's a lazy kind of movie that just hypnotizes you because it goes like, look, it's got all the people in it that you like.
Yeah.
Remember how much you liked them. You liked them.
But you liked Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is the little alien light from
It
Skyline.
is. It totally is. And here's that movie that's like, look, it's got people you either don't know or don't care about.
Yeah.
And the special effects aren't great, and it's a bunch of stuff you've seen before, so don't like it. Just go ahead and tell everybody how much it sucks and walk away. And I was like, you know what? It's not a good movie, and yet there are things about it that I like. Unlike Unstoppable, I wasn't really bored in it. I wasn't even mad. I think what it comes down to is like Unstoppable is totally phoned in.
Yeah.
And here you got it where you got some guys working on this who aren't talented or original, but they're giving it their all.
Well, the one thing they're good at is special effects. And surely the special effects in here, as reminiscent as they are,
Yeah.
to be good, that's as nice way as I can put it, of other films, they are rather convincing looking most of the time. And even some of the action sequences in it, using heavy effects, are downright cool as hell.
Well, the thing is, it's like the way they're rendered, it's easy to tell their effects. Like, they
Sure.
never cross over into being seamless.
No.
And yet, what's done with it is effective. There's a point when an alien comes out of nowhere and smashes a car, and I literally, like, jumped in my seat and went, whoa! It totally caught me off guard. And every time those aliens would come on, I thought they did some cool stuff with them. I'm like, look, maybe you can't win the war of looking like a James Cameron movie, but you know what? You can put something in it where I feel something, and they did it. When they came on screen, I felt dread because it was like, man, these are aliens you can't win against.
Well, what's funny to me is like, okay, so like we said, let's go through the list here. It's ripping off everything else we've already seen.
Yes.
The effects aren't flawless, but they get the job done.
They do.
And they do it in kind of a neat way at times.
Yes.
The action is often a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we get to that point that we find out what the aliens are after. And the guy next to me in the theater kind of gave me one of those looks because I was like laughing like a high-pitched bow laugh in the theater.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. I get what this movie wants to be. It aspires to be, this is the kind of movie I'm surprised you didn't hate because it aspires to be nothing more than a B film. That's all it wants to be. And on that level, well, hell, it aspires to be a C film. And on that level, it actually does succeed for what it's trying to do. It's got terrible dialogue. I mean, just embarrassing, but at least they're trying a little bit. I mean, like, unlike Unstoppable, where it's like, there's barely even any dialogue to define these characters by, and what there is so cliched.
Yeah.
It's almost a Mad Magazine parody more than a movie.
Yeah, and here it's not so much cliche, it's just bad.
It's just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's like, okay, you open with the aliens coming, and for a lot of people it's like, oh cool, we're getting right into it. And then just when you think they get into it, they go like, nope, here's what happened 15 hours ago. You're like, damn it, we got to start from the beginning.
Well, it's a strong opening that starts you off like creepy. There's a creepy effect that happens to people when they're like seeing the light, like a spreading disease over their skin. You're like, wow, that's kind of fucked up.
Turn off the lights.
What are you doing?
And it's a running theme to the movie, and one of the themes of it that makes no sense is that somehow Eric Balfour's character, having gone through it more than once, is infected with it. So it doesn't really go away, and it also gives him undefined independence from the aliens.
And much like in this thing, it makes everyone not trust him.
Yeah. It's one of those weird, like, so what exactly does this mean? And they're like, I don't know, just go with it. It's like, we got to end this somehow.
But see, I don't agree that it aspires to be a B movie. I mean, maybe, or certainly not a C movie. I mean, like the ones that I hate are the ones that they try to go for, and they go, and it's almost like somebody sitting next to you while a joke is going on and ribbing you the whole time, going like, huh? Isn't that funny? Huh?
No, you're right.
And this is like, if you find this is what I would categorize as real camp, where like these guys are earnest about what they're doing. They think they're doing something awesome.
But that's why it feels more like an Asylum production, like one of those rip-offs of other Hollywood movies that you see that go direct to DVD. It feels like the best ever Asylum movie.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Which is what I count of as like a C movie. A B film is like that one that's going for that genre type camp. You're like, well, this is, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And here it's just like, we're not trying to be some like big, like memorable Roland Emmerich film from 20 years ago where we know what we're doing. We're stealing liberally from all over the place. We know we're going to get called on it because there's no way you can't. I mean, the aliens themselves, one of them looks so much like the aliens from Independence Day that it was just, I'm surprised they're not being sued over it.
Well, it's funny because as much as it seemed like they were just like trying to make a good, horror sci-fi movie, it's like the movie's over. It's like it's done and then it comes back on. And it goes this total Cronenberg way.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, really,
weird.
total Cronenberg, except that where it ends with its triumphant statement, you just can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that we go into the end credits and they show all the action figures of the aliens. I was like, guys, are you serious? I don't know whether to banish you or give you a big hug.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
You think you're going to sell figures. Yeah. You have a better chance of people buying the train from Unstoppable.
I know. I mean, only thing missing is them saying for sale in the lobby.
Yeah.
For sale in the lobby.
Like we said, it's these guys who obviously they're like wide open kids, eyes wide open kids. And they're both the directors of this film, the brothers Strauss. It's like, you know what? Until we've decided to call you like the brothers something, you're not allowed to do that. Like no one calling the Coen brothers the Coen brothers until critics and audiences said the Coen brothers.
Right.
They weren't labeling their films the Coen brothers.
Right. Yeah.
Not till they had earned it.
I don't know. The Strauss brothers could make their own name, just not in the way they want.
Well, they got their start. In fact, just till recently, all they did was special effects. That was their big thing, and they worked on some art direction for music videos, stuff like that. And this is the first, I believe. Second theatrical film.
The Aliens versus Predator Requiem. Yeah.
The first Aliens versus Predator is a terrible film, but it's. You
it's
watch it, you're like, it's got some moments. It's not like it's a rental, you know? Requiem is awful. It's not even watchable. It's not bearable to sit through. It's that bad. So I was not expecting good things from this at all. And that being said, in comparison to their first film, this is practically a masterpiece. But these are guys who are thinking from the aspect of someone who are looking at the bottom line. They're looking at the dollar. They're looking at what worked in other stuff. Right. But they're not looking for artistic integrity on any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Skyline is what it is. I can't understand the hate that's being directed at it and the loathing, because when you look at what they were trying to what they're trying to do and where their ambition is, where that bar is set, I can't be that resentful for it.
You and I can't, but to me this is one of those movies where it's like that kid who's it's like the poor almost homeless kid in school where, you know what, you got to pick on somebody and he's the easiest target. And this is an easy target, and everybody can dogpile on it and feel good about themselves. They're like, oh, I'm so much smarter than this movie, and make fun of it or hate it. And I felt more like, hey, you guys leave him alone and let's cuddle him and give him a new pair of pants and a hot cup of cocoa and send him out there. To me, I'm giving this a rental, and it's almost a high rental because it is like I couldn't see it as anything above a rental, and yet it's a rental where if somebody was over, I would say, hey, check this out, watch this movie. Yeah. I mean, it's totally, God, the way it steals, it steals in a way that it's, like you said, it's almost cute. It's like, wow, you really thought you were going to get away with it. I have to laugh that you did this. It's like, what other movie starts with a party and then has the alien or the creature come in and start tearing up the city? Besides Cloverfield. No, that's the one. I'm sorry.
It's funny how half-assed it is about some things with the effects too, and how totally great it is with others. Like, I mean, this should be a city destroyed at one point when we're seeing this pan over it.
Oh yeah.
But all they show is this occasional little fire here and there, obviously digital, and I think you can even see cars moving in the distance at one point. You're like, guys, the aliens themselves look pretty good. You think you could make the city look like a bunch of them have been stomping on it for the last
I would
day?
defend that only in seeing the city like that, where it's not all that destroyed. It lended a little bit of credence to the idea of, okay, maybe we can leave here. Like if it had been completely destroyed, it'd be like, oh no, there's no way. Why would you even think of that?
Yeah.
But the idea that like, okay, some of it's destroyed, but we don't really see all that many aliens, could make you think, okay, maybe we could make a break for it. At least let's try. Let's just go out there and see what happens.
I mean, maybe for me, one of the things I didn't mind as much about this is this does feel like a video game, very much so.
Sure.
But it feels like a game I'd enjoy playing.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, if this was just a video game, is the only way it was put out, I would be telling my friends about it, going, wow, you got to check this shit out. This is actually pretty cool.
There's those little points like when they look out and they can see thousands of people being sucked up in the air into the ship, which I thought was a cool visual. And the fact that somebody compared it to the Rapture. I was like, wow, you actually could take that and go somewhere with it.
Yeah, if you had chosen to have any subtext that you followed through
yes, of course.
instead of the bizarre miasma of ideas that are just mashed together haphazardly in this film. Yeah, there is no subtext that I can actually detect.
No, there's absolutely none. I mean, there's sort of that like, well, if you're an LA douchebag who cheats on your girlfriend, then this is what you get.
Right.
Oh, but then all these other people get it too. So I forget that point. I'm sorry. What was I saying?
Yeah, the best I can give this is a high rental, and I'll give that because I did enjoy it. Maybe it was because I had such low expectations, and
yes.
I really did. But, I mean, shit, I had kind of fun with it throughout it. I mean, is it a good movie? Absolutely not. It is not a good movie. But I think if you were renting it at home, especially after all the shit you've heard about it, you'd go, well, I don't understand what.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
It's kind of like when The Arrival came out.
Yes,
everybody talked so much shit about that on the theatrical release, and I didn't see it.
Oh, and
then I saw it at home on on cable. I think years later, I went, "Hey, that wasn't that bad."
That was one of those movies where Corey and I think maybe the co-host saw it in the theater, and we all came out going like, "I thought that was actually pretty cool."
Yeah.
But so. I always say you can't really completely trust Rotten Tomatoes, but maybe I just can't trust it. But yeah, high rental.
Yeah, I we forgot to come back around to the ass and the vagina aliens, though, which is come on, it's like one of those things you can't miss it. I don't care who you are, if you've actually had sex at some point in your life or seen porn, certain quantity, these aliens are sucking people into them either through an anus type sphincter or through a really obvious vagina. Like imagine the Independence Day aliens if they had a pussy on their head.
A vagina with little teeth.
Yeah, with little teeth. Well, see, there's another movie they're ripping off.
What is